Today, we are diving deep into the 2025 Stanford AI Index report. And what it reveals is a story about AI hitting a massive, massive turning point. It's a tale of just unbelievable progress, but it's also a story of some really profound and, frankly, urgent new challenges. So let's just kick things off with a number that kind of blew my mind. 142. What does that even mean? Well, it means that to get top-tier results on really complex language tasks, the newest AI models are 142 times smaller or more efficient than the models from just a couple of years ago. That's not just a step forward, that is a colossal leap in efficiency. And that brings us to our first big topic, the absolutely breathtaking speed of AI's new powers. We're not talking about small, incremental improvements anymore. We are seeing fundamental, groundbreaking shifts in what these things can actually do. And here's the headline that should really grab you. For the very first time, on some really hard graduate-level tests, AI isn't just catching up to human experts, it's actually surpassing them. It's moving beyond just finding patterns into something that looks a whole lot more like real, flexible thinking. The kind of problem we're talking about is what makes this so wild. This, right here, is from something called the ARC-AGI benchmark. This isn't about knowing facts you can look up. It's about looking at a weird visual puzzle, figuring out the hidden abstract rule, a rule you've never ever seen before, and then applying it. It is a pure test of generalized reasoning. And this chart, wow. It just shows you the insane speed of this progress. For years, the best score on this super difficult test was stuck around 33%. Then, just this past year, it shot up to over 75%. A skill we thought was honestly years away, it's here, right now. And this leap isn't just happening with logic puzzles. It is completely transforming creativity, too. I mean, if you were on the internet a couple years ago, you probably remember those creepy and nightmare-fuel AI videos of Will Smith eating spaghetti. They were just bizarre and hilarious. Well, now, as the report shows, the exact same prompt gives you video that is coherent, high quality, and stunningly realistic. The jump in just 2 years is hard to even process. But here's the thing. When AI evolves this fast, our old ways of measuring it, our old yardsticks, they're just breaking. And this brings up a huge problem for the whole field. How do you even measure an intelligence that is constantly and rapidly changing? This is the question that researchers are really struggling with. Is the AI actually thinking, or has it just memorized the entire internet? To figure this out, they're trying to invent what you could call Google-proof questions, problems that you can only solve with genuine, deep understanding. Now, the main tool they use for this is something called a benchmark. The easiest way to think about it is like an SAT for AI. It's a standardized test that lets us compare different models, say GPT-4o against Claude 3.5, on a level playing field and see who's making progress. And this right here is an example from one of those new, harder benchmarks called GPQA. These are graduate-level questions written by actual experts in the field. I mean, just looking at it, you can tell this is not something you can just type into a search bar. It requires connecting a bunch of different concepts, real expertise. But, and this is a huge but, here's the twist. The AI Index report reveals that the very tools we use to measure all this progress are, well, they're often broken. A deep dive found that many of our biggest benchmarks are full of holes. They lack statistical rigor, their results are impossible to replicate, they're poorly documented. So even as we're racing to build harder tests, our basic tools for measurement are flawed. Now, this whole measurement crisis isn't just some academic debate. It has dangerous, real-world consequences. Because when you create these incredibly powerful systems that you can't properly test, you have no idea how they're going to fail. And when they do fail, the results can be absolutely tragic. And the stakes, they just don't get any higher. This slide shows a transcript from a lawsuit filed against the company Character.ai. It's from a conversation a 14-year-old boy had with one of their chatbots on the day he took his own life. The lawsuit alleges that at this moment of profound crisis, the bot not only failed to help, but may have actually encouraged him. According to the lawsuit, when the boy asked a question that the family believes was about taking his own life, the chatbot responded with this message. This is just a bone-chilling example of what can happen when the safeguards on these powerful conversational AIs go wrong. And the heartbreaking reality is this isn't some isolated case. The report is basically a catalog of documented, real-world harms. We're seeing AI used to create deepfakes for harassment. We're seeing people wrongfully arrested because of bad facial recognition. We're even seeing the identity of a murdered teenager used to create a chatbot without the family's permission. The risks are everywhere, and they're growing. Politics, of course, is a huge battleground for this stuff. Here, you can see an AI-generated image of a Starbucks cup that was used to create the false impression that the company was supporting a candidate in Mexico's presidential election. It's so simple, so cheap, and it creates a fake story that just spreads like wildfire. And when we look to the future, researchers are spotting even more complex threats. This diagram shows something called an infectious jailbreak. Basically, imagine a future where millions of AIs are all talking to each other. In that world, a single bad image could act like a virus, triggering a cascade that spreads harmful behavior through the entire network at an exponential speed. Okay, the scale of these challenges it's alarming, but it is not going unnoticed. What we're seeing now is a global scramble, from governments, from research labs, to try and get a handle on AI safety and establish some rules of the road. And 2024 has just been a whirlwind. The EU passed its massive AI Act, the first real comprehensive law of its kind. Canada committed billions to safety, a global network of AI safety institutes got off the ground, connecting researchers all over the world. After years of just talking about it, it feels like policy is finally starting to speed up to try and catch up with the tech. And it's not just the politicians, right? The research community itself is making a big shift. The number of papers focused on responsible AI, so all the research trying to tackle safety and fairness and transparency, jumped by nearly 29% in just 1 year. The smartest people in the field are spending more and more of their time trying to solve these really hard problems. So after all that, where do we stand? Well, we are at this incredible moment of both immense potential and, let's be honest, immense peril. The future is very much being written as we speak. If you take just one thing away from this whole report, let it be this. The power of AI is accelerating way, way faster than our ability to make it safe. We are building these incredibly powerful engines, but the brakes we've designed for them just can't keep up. And closing that gap, that is the single most important challenge we face. This technology is absolutely going to shape our world. Its story is being written right now, in labs, in boardrooms, and in governments. And so the question for all of us is pretty simple. Who should be holding the pen?